Well, on Mother's Day, it's important to remember Mother. Whether she's here with us in spirit or in body, she's provided a lot for us in a lot of different ways. Let's look today at how a variety of people remember their mothers, and hopefully you'll add your own story at a dinner table or with friends on the phone or just in your own thoughts today. So for all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. This is Graceful Aging. Mother's Day is coming up, and I've been asking people, and I'd like to ask you, Reggie, of what you remember about your mother in terms of what imprint she made and something she said or did that you think about.
My mother was an inspiration to me. She made me what I am today. May she rest in peace. I miss her so much, and I wish that I could explain and write a book about the things that she done when she was here on earth. She was all the inspiration that I needed.
Was she humorous?
Very, very humorous. Very humorous, would help anybody. If you was in the street, I'm talking about, it didn't make a difference. My mother, she worked with elderly folks, man. She had nursing homes before what they used to call back then personal care homes before they became nursing homes. So she taught me a lot about how to deal with people. So that's why I give all my credit to her. She's all the inspiration I need. She was the best person I knew in my life. Thelma Randolph. Mom, I love you, I miss you, and happy Mother's Day, dearly. I love you.
Well, I was raised in the South, and I think particularly Southern women are superstitious. So I remember her superstitions. For example, it was bad luck to kill a cricket. You could never kill a cricket. You always had to have black-eyed peas on New Year's Day. And interestingly enough, her birthday was New Year's Day, so we always had to have the Christmas decorations down.
What's your mom's name, and is she still alive?
Unfortunately, my mother is deceased. Her name was Moselle Heckman. I would. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Dr. Jay Greenberg from the NCOA. Can you tell us a little bit about your mother?
My mom is still alive. She's 91. God love her. And I think the funniest thing I remember was I was about 14. My mom was driving me to a baseball practice, and all of a sudden a police car pulled up and pulled us over and said, "Ma'am, you were speeding." And she goes, "No, I couldn't have been speeding." And he goes, "Ma'am, you were speeding." She says, No, because when I'm speeding and I see a police car, I always slow down, and I didn't see you."
Oh, so I'll bet that memory popped into your head if you've ever been pulled over yourself.
Every time I look in the rearview mirror.
Why don't you wish your mom a happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. That's probably the first thing. My mom had 5 children in 7 years, which was a pretty big accomplishment right there. But, you know, at the time that I was coming up, there weren't as many women doing the kind of work that I do, getting through business school, trying to work my way through organizations. And my mom always let me know that a woman's brain is better than a man's brain, and that there was nothing that would stop me from achieving what I wanted to achieve. And, you know, there were many times when you're the only woman in a room that you start to think, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to do it. But I could always call my mom, and my mother would give me the kind of support that I needed to keep going.
Wow.
And I will always, always appreciate that.
That's beautiful. Your mom's name is?
My mom's name is Jean Miller.
And she lives?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And one more Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
More than that, a remembrance, there's a lot of, I mean, she's still around, but she'll come to New York now, and I might be timid, and I'll see someone on the street that I want to take a photograph. And my mom's become so much a part of this advanced style. We were in the West Village. She saw this one woman, and I saw her, and my mom saw me turn my head, and she said, "Are you going to take her photo?" I said, "No, Mom." My mom ran down the street saying, excuse me, my son has a blog. Excuse me, my son has a blog. He wants to take it. And I'm like, "Wow, what are you doing?" But then I realized everything she's doing is for the good. Yeah, so, I mean, she does these things. I just showed her my book in San Diego, and she took it to the hair salon, and she took it to bookstores. Do you have my son's book here? I said, "Mom, don't do that." But then they liked it, and now they're carrying it. So she's always been a big part of my life, and I've realized also that I'm a lot like her, because she helps a lot of people, and she's very giving, and I think I tend to do that as well.
Yes, you are.
So, happy Mother's Day, Francisco.
Kathy, there's a lot of memories that mothers have, and your mother, why don't you tell us your mother's name and something that, imprinted that she said or did for you?
My mom's name is Conchetta, and she's always told me since I was little that you can do anything you put your mind to. And it stuck with me, and I love her a lot, and I want to wish her a happy Mother's Day. So I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Well, my mom passed in 2003, but she was a special mom, and we called her my dear. I'm the oldest out of 9 kids, and I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. But what my mom would do, she would call each one of us kids one at a time, and she would give us $1, and she'd give us a kiss, and she'd whisper, "Don't tell the other ones." And it made each one of us feel so special, and my brother told that story at the funeral. And my dear, I just want to say to you, you made each one of us very special, and we feel special today. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Stacy Oken, tell us about your favorite experience or your remembrance of your mother.
Recently my family had the misfortune of losing our family dog, and he was such an integral part of our family. But my mom sent my sisters and I an email, lessons she learned from our dog, and some of it was never pass up the opportunity to go for a joyride, always run and greet your loved ones when they get home, and other just fun, simple things that you wouldn't necessarily think to do consciously, but it was a great way to kind of bring to light things that you wouldn't normally think of.
Oh, that's a nice thought. And your mother's name? Wish her a happy Mother's Day.
Janet, and whenever I go to any sporting event or anything that's televised, she always says, "Make sure you bring your Hi Mom sign." So here's her Hi Mom, Happy Mother's Day.
Well, on Mother's Day, we have to remember mothers, and we remember mothers in a variety of different ways. Debbie Stoddard from Rome, Georgia, How do you remember Mother?
I think I remember one of my most pleasant memories is that we always had our meals together all the time at the table. You sat around the table and you had your meal. And it was always considered rude at our house if we said, pass the potatoes. We always had said, thank you for the potatoes or thank you for whatever dish we wanted. And when I've tried to instill that in my kids, they think it's really kind of funny to think in advance for what you want. But every time I say that, that brings back fond memories of my mama.
Oh, and she instilled that in you.
Yeah.
And what was her name?
Dorothy.
Is she alive now?
No, she's been gone about 14 years.
Well, we always remember our mother on Mother's Day. Why don't you wish her a happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mama's Day in heaven.
I spent my early years in Germany with my mother, grandmother, and aunt. My father's business was not doing well, and we went back to Germany in 1932.
That's a few years ago.
And she raised me as a little kid for 5 years before we came back to the States. And I can remember walking through this wonderful old village on the Neckar River near Heidelberg. And we had a wonderful childhood. And she had a great impression on me. Happy, very, very happy, and part of my memory of growing up.
And what was your mother's name?
Lena.
Wish her a happy Mother's Day.
I'd love to do that if I could. Thank you.
Gehenna, your mother's name was Hope.
Yes.
And tell us about Hope and wish Hope a happy Mother's Day as well.
Well, my dear mother passed away, gosh, now 7 years ago. And she used to tease me and she would say, you do everything so slowly, except eat and spend money.
Wish her a happy Mother's Day. You'll think of her this Mother's Day, I know, and mothers always deserve a Mother's Day, whether they're with us physically or with us in spirit.
Oh, they're always with us both. Thank you.
I would like to thank my mother, Carolyn Hill, for always encouraging me to be a strong, independent woman, for modeling for me through my childhood and youth that I could do anything that I put my mind to. And your strength and resilience throughout my life has just made a huge impression on me. And I thank you and I love you.
The love of education. I attended her graduation from the University of Maryland in 1977 when she was getting her PhD. And so that inspired me to do the same thing. So that's what she gave to me, just a love of learning.
Would you like to wish her name?
Her name is Jerry. Aunt Jerry, I want to wish you a very special happy Mother's Day and happy learning.
Thank you so much.
Well, one of the things, I'll say it in Spanish and then translate it if that's okay. It is bien cabezuda. Okay? She says, I'm so stubborn. And I've lived my life to live that out too. I am a pretty stubborn person, so I don't know if that's silly or not, but.
That's a characteristic that you remember of your mother. And is your mother still alive now?
My mother just turned 90 years old last week, and my brothers and my sister and I took her to Las Vegas to play the slots. That's what she wanted for her 90th birthday.
And was she a winner? Well, she was a winner. She was with you.
A winner, absolutely. She had a blast.
Well, why don't you wish your mother a happy Mother's Day then, Virginia?
Bueno, mamá, feliz año para usted. I love you. Happy birthday and happy Mother's Day.
Eugene, thinking back, now you lost your mother when you were only 4 years old, but what memory do you have of your mother, something she said or did that sticks with you even today?
Boy, don't hit me with that scooter. And I love you. I mean, she kissed me many times. Used to hold me a lot. So I miss that.
And even at 4 years old, that imprinted on you?
It did. I vaguely remember her, but those are certain instances I remember. So. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Pearl.
Well, thanks, Eugene. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I always remember of my mother was that my mother was very much involved in church, and she came and stayed here in the United States for a long time before we even come to be with her, even though she traveled back and forth, and she was a school teacher here. And she thought that she will teach us English and Spanish. And I think that I didn't think that I was going to learn English in Puerto Rico, that's where we're from. But I always remember that for Mother's Day, we had a bank. We put pennies there during the year. And in Mother's Day, we always used to go and buy a gift with that money that we had. And my father will say, what happened to my Father's Day gift, it went all to your mother. And my mother will get up and say, because I helped them put money in that can where they're saving money. And I always remember that. And what I do is try to remember the good things that she did in her lifetime. Because to the end of her life, she had Alzheimer's. And it was kind of hard to take that. But we all took time, because 4 of us live in the States and 1 live in Puerto Rico now. We all took time to go back home for Mother's Day and see that those flowers were there, because she loved roses. And even though she called them another name, it was roses for her. Whatever she found of flowers, it was roses. But
I'm sure that you'll have wonderful memories on Mother's Day and be wishing her a happy Mother's Day.
yes, I will be having a beautiful Mother's Day.
Thank you so much for being a part of Graceful Aging.
My name is Drew Bell. My mother's name is Nancy Bell. We're from Pennsylvania, and a loving memory I have of my mother is her taking the time to homeschool me for 2 years while I was in middle school. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
And what about that homeschooling? Was she strict or was she easy?
She was very lenient with me, at the same time giving me everything I needed to develop the proper skills to take me to high school and college.
Henry, tell us your mother's name, and tell us, I know you lost her a year and a half ago, and I'm sorry for that loss, but you still have fond memories, and you'll always have fond memories of her. What do you remember about your mom, and wish her a happy Mother's Day?
Mother's name is Virginia. She passed away a year and a half ago. And the thing I remember most is I played 8th grade basketball. And I was on the team. I was not a very good player, so I probably didn't get in most games. And the games were maybe 30 minutes away. And she came to all 12 games, even though I didn't play. And she came, and I remember making a free throw at one of the games, and she was just so elated. And when you think back to say, here's her son who, and she took off just so she could be at all those games. And I really just have that emotional memory that she did that for me. Happy Mom's Day, Mom.
It's a time when my mother was alive. I was still so uptight that I was always embarrassed, but now I think she was such a great gift, and she gave me the gift of being who I am today, but it took me a while. This is the story. I had a studio for 23 years on 57th Street next to the Russian Tea Room and Carnegie Hall. And my mother came to visit me from time to time and stayed with me. One day, she went on her own, she had to go someplace. And she came home, and this is a story she told me. There was a policeman, and he directed traffic. He was so sad looking and so down looking. So what she did was that she walked once across the street, waited for the light, walked the other way, again and again. Finally he noticed, he said, I've seen you do that 7 times. Why do you do that? And she said, I did it for you. He said, what do you mean? He said, you looked so sad, I wanted to cheer you up. Is that sweet?
And that's you in a way.
And I have become very much like that. When I see somebody, when I first came to New York and I had very little money and I bought, daisies were the cheapest. And I was in the subway and somebody would look like that. I said, have a daisy. Somebody else looked, have a daisy. When I went out of the train, I had a bunch of men following me. They thought, I'm a girl, I'm a prostitute. And I said, what's the matter with you people? Can't somebody be nice to you? I didn't do it again.
What was your mother's name?
Frida.
Frida.
Yeah.
You want to wish her a happy Mother's Day?
Thank you. She is no more.
Oh, but
many years.
Even on Mother's Day, don't
but
you?
But she was really quite a woman. She was very, very, which only now I really appreciate. Isn't that funny? I mean, I appreciated that she was kind to me, nice, and you love your mother. That's sa façon de dire. But really, when I think about the things she did, it was so daring at that time, you know, and so gutsy, and so a goodwill showing that and I've become more and more like that when I can help somebody, when I can involve somebody. Now that I'm building, I have so many fans, I try to pull my friends who are in the back forward.
I think one of the things that has always impressed me about my mother is that she has this capacity to forgive, and it's really beautiful, and it's a life lesson. So her name's Norma. She lives in Baltimore, Maryland. Absolutely happy Mother's Day, Mom. Thank you.